This is the start of the path of powerlifting. It's a video series where we aim to take you from whatever starting point you might be at, all the way to competing in your first powerlifting competition. We'll take you through every element of competitive powerlifting, all the way from when and where to do your first competition, up into advanced meet day strategies. Welcome to episode 1 of the Calgary Barbell Path of Powerlifting series. So, you think that powerlifting might be something that you'd like, but you have no idea where to start. If you've never stepped foot in a gym before, you can start by looking into the movements themselves. It may seem like there are some barriers to entry in terms of equipment. It may appear that you need a special bar, or plates, or a combo rack. I can assure you that you need absolutely zero of these things to start your journey. Find any bar, find some plates, a squat rack, a bench, and any place you can deadlift. And that's it, you're set. When it comes to learning the lifts, try not to gatekeep yourself too hard. No one is gonna have perfect technique the first time they try a lift. If you're interested in perfecting your technique, you can check out the definitive guide series on our YouTube channel for in-depth tutorials about the squat, bench press, and deadlift, linked in the description below. Once you've gotten a bit comfortable with doing the movements themselves, then we're ready for the next step. First things first, we need a plan. In order to get results in powerlifting, we need to start with a training program. When I first started in powerlifting, there were not a lot of options. I Frankenstein programs together that I found in forums and books. I ended up getting hurt and I even bombed out of a meet. I want you to do better than I did when I first started. And that's the whole point of this series. So what makes an intelligently designed powerlifting program? Number 1, we need to train the competition lifts. That is the squat, the bench press, and your chosen style of deadlift, either conventional or sumo. Number 2, we need to ensure that we do so with enough weight on the bar to get stronger, but not so much that we can't get better at the skill of lifting. And we also need to get enough sets and enough reps, but not too many. This may sound like an intricate puzzle to solve, and it is, but when you're just getting started, there are a lot less complex needs and balances to manipulate. Enter the Calgary Barbell 16-week program. It's free and it works. I built the program a number of years ago to help people get started in powerlifting, and since then it's been downloaded tens of thousands of times, and I've had hundreds of people tell me that it was their first program and that it worked incredibly well. Check the description box below to get yourself a copy straight to your inbox. There's also going to be a companion video that comes along with the 16-week program, and that explains how to run it, so make sure you don't skip that part. Once we have a plan, we need to execute it. In order for your training to adequately prepare you for a powerlifting meet, your lifts are going to need to fit a certain criteria. It can be exceedingly difficult just to feel this, especially if you're new to the movements. And for that reason, I recommend you film and review your lifts. The filming part, well, that part's pretty easy, but the reviewing process, that's where things can get a little bit trickier. We will go more in depth on the competition standards and execution of lifts a little later in the series, but here's a quick checklist of the major keys. On the squat, depth, which means the top of the hip joint below the top of the knee joint. Also, no up and down movement on the way up. For bench, head down, heels down, butt down. Pause on the chest, lock your elbows at the top. With the deadlift, lockout, which means knees, hips, and shoulders. Also, no up and down movement, and do not drop the bar. Hands on the bar the whole way to the ground. Now at this point you may be wondering, do I need a coach? Can I get into powerlifting and be successful without one? Well, I can't answer that directly for you, but I can help you find the answer. Number 1, do you want one? Do you feel like you want guidance and a plan to follow, or do you want to blaze your own path and figure things out? Some people have a very analytical mind, and figuring out powerlifting training for themselves can be a hugely rewarding experience. Number 2, are you making progress? If you're making progress on the lifts and you're feeling healthy and you're happy with the way that you're doing it, then keep on keeping on. If you're injured, beat up, stalling out, and hitting plateaus, well, that's kind of what us coaches are here for. Number 3, what are your goals? Are you just looking to have a good time? Are you wanting to lift to be in shape and just do a competition every so often? Or are you looking to push yourself to be competitive at the highest level possible? Now, I'm not saying that people who want to have fun shouldn't get a coach, but it's easier to recommend a coach to somebody who wants to be a champion. Lastly, can you afford it? In some ways, coaches are a lot like tattoos. Good ones aren't cheap, and cheap ones aren't good. There are, however, some affordable options that still provide good coaching. For example, the Calgary Barbell Training app. Our goal with the app is to solve the problem that people run into when they want quality guidance and education on powerlifting training, but they're not ready to invest in a one-on-one coaching relationship with any of our world-class coaches. What makes the CBB app different is that it is not just programming. You're not walking away with a PDF and a pat on the head. You're actually engaging with myself and the other Calgary Barbell coaches on a weekly basis. You're getting technique advice, you're learning the how and why of the programming, and we're helping you to modify the programs to suit your needs. Sure, we have a gigantic library of programs to choose from, but the key here is being able to hit up a powerlifting coach who's been doing this for 10 plus years and actually begin to understand your programming. Whether or not you get a coach is up to you. There is no one-size-fits-all approach. My best advice is to find a good community, and that can be online or in person, but find a place where you can learn and you can absorb information. You could have the best coach, the best execution on the lifts, and the best, most optimized powerlifting program of all time, but that alone isn't going to be enough unless you're taking care of yourself outside of the gym. Get it? We're outside, that's the gym there, outside of the gym. So what is recovery? The easiest box to check for most people is gonna be sleep. Get enough sleep and get quality sleep. So what is enough sleep? For most people, this means 7 to 9 hours of sleep per night. Now, what is quality sleep? What does that mean? Well, that means ideally you're in a dark room, no distractions or technology. So that means not watching One Piece until 2 a.m. every night, Dylan. Quality sleep is ideally temperature controlled. We're reducing stimulus in general about 1 hour before we go to bed, and we're trying to stick to a sleep schedule, rising and falling asleep around the same times of day every day of the week. If you're training for a powerlifting meet, then you're an athlete. You might laugh when I say that, but if you think of yourself as an athlete and you treat yourself as an athlete, then you'll be able to expect the results that an athlete expects. The other huge pillar of your recovery is going to be your nutrition. Nutrition for powerlifters can be very complex, and we've got a video that goes a lot more into detail on it if you check the description box below. However, for the purpose of a more general overview in this video, I'm just going to give you the Cliffs Notes. You want to aim for 0.8 to 1.2 gram per pound of body weight when it comes to protein. You want fats to account for 15 to 35% of your daily calories, and whether you're bulking or cutting, you're going to fill the rest in with carbs to hit your calorie goals. You might be wondering where your calories should be set based on your body weight and your goals. If you take a poke around, you can find a lot of free calculators on the internet, or there are a lot of paid apps, including Macro Factor. That's the one I use. You can get a free 2-week trial using code CRABSHARK over there. A final element to recovery, the cherry on top, if you will, is going to be stress management. Now, this is going to be the most individual thing, and as such, can be the hardest to control, but we can make some efforts. Number 1, doing things like meditation can be really beneficial, helping to keep us in a good headspace. Now, meditation doesn't have to be some kind of Zen state where we're striving for enlightenment. It can be as easy as just sitting somewhere quiet, closing your eyes for 10 minutes and putting your damn phone away. Just try to watch your thoughts go by and don't engage like watching cars drive along a highway. Other things you can do in terms of stress management are going to be trying to time your powerlifting meet to ensure it's not around moving into a new house or a really stressful time at work. We understand that people's unique situations and circumstances are going to impact their ability to adhere to these kinds of things. If you're someone who works a manual labor job, or you do shift work, or you have a big family and a bunch of kids, it doesn't mean that you don't get a seat at the table, but it does mean that you will have additional challenges. Do the best that you can with what you have, and remember, nobody's perfect. The final thing we'll tackle for powerlifting training is equipment. As stated earlier in this series, we'll use the perspective of IPF raw powerlifting. This means using a belt, knee sleeves, wrist wraps, shoes, and a singlet on your meet day. Bear in mind that none of these things are absolutely essential outside of a pair of shoes and a singlet. However, if you're watching this video and you're investing the time in trying to do things right, you may want to look at some of these additional tools. A belt can be one of the biggest game changers when it comes to your squat and deadlift training. And knee sleeves can really do wonders for your squat. I'm a big fan of wrist wraps. I use them on both my squat and my bench, but there are certainly a lot of lifters who opt not to use them. As for shoes, some lifters will use a shoe with a raised heel in it for squats and or bench. You can experiment with this a bit to see if it feels right for you using a couple of 10-pound plates. But many lifters, including myself, just use a minimal flat-soled shoe that's nice and sticky for all 3 lifts. If you're looking for the best place to find any of this powerlifting equipment, then we recommend you head over and check out the sponsor of this video series, Inner Strength Products. They're a Canadian company owned and operated by 2 phenomenal people within Canadian powerlifting. I bought my very first belt from them all the way back in 2012, and they've been honestly a force for good in powerlifting since even before that. ISP has absolutely everything you could need to get all of your equipment to get started, and the customer service is absolutely unrivaled. A huge thank you to Inner Strength Products for supporting us, supporting this video series, and supporting powerlifting. So there you have it, a crash course in training for powerlifting. In video 2, we're going to go over choosing a powerlifting federation and the differences between them, as well as how to decide which meet is right for you. If you don't want to miss those videos, make sure that you're subscribed to follow along with the rest of the series, and we'll see you there.